So, welcome to Open Caller. I am Corey. He is Vishal, and a familiar face to some below. Some people in their 60s and 70s, little young Tom Selleck
and Friends fans.
and Friends fans.
Unless you're one of those people that only watches the new Magnum PI.
Ugh. In that case, just stop listening now.
Yeah, on the phone we have Tom Selleck. No, it's Ryan. Ryan has joined us on a very special Open Caller.
I sold my camera for rent money.
Damn this pandemic. People can't afford nice 720p Logitech webcams anymore.
Yeah, I'll probably get a new one at some point. The one I gave to my dad is a potato.
What's your dad doing with it?
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I made that joke earlier.
Yeah. He has to get his PS5 somehow, right? I think it's for his, he wants to be able to see his friends while he plays cards or something.
Can you play honest cards on a Zoom meeting? Because you have the 52 deck cards in front of you.
I think they use some app, some card app, on the desktop.
I've done
chess or something.
I've done poker games with you just go
Private.
We were on a Zoom call, but then on it wasn't Poker Stars, but it was one of those where you have your own kind of private room. So we could see each other through a Zoom call, but then we were playing on whatever Poker Stars or whatever it was.
Different times we live in.
I wish you were on camera because I would do the Brady Bunch opening and look down at you.
Yeah.
And have you look.
No one's that coordinated. You'd have one person that wants to do that.
No,
I'm the one.
Everyone would want to do it. You'd have one person able to do it. Everyone else is looking up when they're supposed to look down. Yeah. But my screen says I'm over here.
It's the mirrored image, so you're looking left when you should be looking right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone just freezes.
Now, Ryan, you're a football fan. Shall you're
Oh,
Brown.
I'm a Browns fan.
So, what happened with the COVID-riddled Browns yesterday?
Amazing. They were so good.
They were so good. I didn't watch all of the game because I stopped watching it the half.
When it was 28-0.
Yeah. So did they end up winning?
They won.
Yeah. Okay.
It was 48
Yeah, it ended up being
29 or
close.
something like that. The second half was a lot close. If it was 0-0 at the second half or at halftime, then I think they would have lost.
Yeah, because I caught a bit of the second half and it looks like Pittsburgh was starting to get their crap together. But I have no logical explanation for that.
Hey, it's been the Browns' time since when was the last time they were in the playoffs?
18 years ago?
95?
I heard it was
94?
First time in 18 years they made the playoffs, and first time they've won in 26 years.
Buffalo just won their first playoff game in 25 years, something like that.
Oh, how the turntables
have
turned.
Yeah. Gonna see
this is it's fantastic. My Browns are finally doing something.
Well,
I say my Browns. I watched the first game of the season.
Are you on the team, Michelle?
Yes. The team is named after me.
That.
Yeah.
It's technically correct.
I usually watch the first game of the season, and I'm not a football fan, so I struggle through that one, and then I've never really had to watch playoff football other than the Super Bowl. But also yesterday I chose to watch the Raptors game instead of the Browns anyway. But I checked in from time to time. I saw that they were doing not too shabby. And then one more week. We got one more week of Browns football.
At least.
Who knows where this could go.
Who do they play next week, do you know?
Oh, I'm not that far ahead.
Oh, I'll Google it.
It's the Green Bay Mermen.
We'll have our stat guy on it.
No, I don't. I haven't watched football in a decade. at least. But I feel as though because of how big the field is and how the camera's situated, that is one where you wouldn't know if the place was empty or not. Comparative to like basketball and hockey, where you can see the boards, guys. And so I don't know. Is the viewing experience been any different?
I've watched quite a bit of football this year, and I mean, they kind of put in like they inject like the crowd noise and stuff, which kind of helps. So it hasn't been too bad. It'd be nice to see full stadiums again, I think. But like it does, like I won't not watch it because there's no one in the stands. Like it hasn't had that much of an impact.
Yeah, like you're not watching it for the fans in the stands. Like it's nice to get their reaction once in a while.
Yeah, or
but...
like they catch them like eating like a hot dog weird or something like that. Like those little things. Like I kind of miss that.
But it's like a very small part of the viewing experience.
Yeah, I still watch sports,
of course.
Golf.
I never could get into golf. It's actually the one sport that I could just never enjoy spectating.
I'm a big fan of it, but it's also like, I mean, obviously with golf, you're cheering on specific players, and it can't just follow them the entire time. Like even if it's Tiger Woods that you're cheering on, and he's like Tiger Woods in his prime, they're not gonna follow him while he's walking to his next shot. So it's nice when there's a group that like there's 3 people or 4 people that I really want to see, and that just kind of they're going to be one of the main groups that they follow. But yeah, a lot of the time, like I'm going to watch it, but I'm not watching it as intently. You know, not like something like table tennis. I'm all in.
Love to watch table tennis. That's exciting.
That's exciting. It's an exciting sport.
See any of the CES stuff today?
Yeah, I tried to follow some of it. It seemed like today was laptops, TVs, and TCL's 8K
rollable display, smartphone and tablet.
Yeah, those and LG had one of those as well. I think it looks almost identical to what they talked about last year at CES. So I guess last year was more of a proof of concept thing, and then this year is more of an actual prototype. But for when it becomes like an actual like something that's going to go into production and actually be sold, I feel like that's still a long way away. But the rollable thing seems, I don't know, Brian,
if you're unaware, it's basically like a scroll. It's just like an LED screen.
So
that's pretty cool.
Like that to me, that concept seems not amazing, but just genius. It's like going back to pirate days, but with an LED screen instead.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of like the tables and stuff like that have that kind of technology where you just kind of like move crap around on the table and
like Iron Man.
Basically like Iron Man. Yeah, that's the closest. That's the closest thing I can think of.
The way close to Minority Report, but we had to wear gloves, right?
Yeah,
to interact with the screen.
Yeah, I think that's coming pretty soon. Like I've done the whole VR like Oculus Quest. Or is it the Quest? Yeah, and it's very similar. You can do just about anything in there, so it wouldn't surprise me if that comes soon.
The way I equate the rollable stuff, at least, is like when you watch a trailer for a movie and they show you the best parts of the movie.
Yep.
And then you go to the movie and you're like, I've already seen all the things that I kind of want to see. The rollable tech and the scrollable and all that kind of stuff, it's like when they show their ad or their like kind of use case for it, they're showing the best possible use of it. And it's amazing in those instances. And then in every other like task, it seems like a regular smartphone would just do a better job of it. You know what I mean?
TV appear as if from nowhere.
Yeah,
once it's out, the TV's out.
Yeah, and like there's stuff like LG had a phone called the LG Wing that came out earlier this year, and it was actually a phone that people could buy, not in Canada, but in the States and stuff. And what it was like a swivel screen. So the front screen would swivel up and make the phone look like a T kind of, and then you had a smaller display underneath. And all the stuff that they showed about like why you would want this was something like, if you had it mounted in your car, you could have one screen for maps and one screen for like music control. And you're like, all right, cool. Like I could see that, but that's really like only happening in the car. And then some other stuff like, watching a video on one screen and scrolling through comments on the bottom or something like that. And it's like, again, like that's cool, but that's not a main use of most people's like phone, right? Like if you're making a phone call or texting someone or just scrolling through like Twitter or Instagram, you don't need two screens for it. And so like there's, obviously they're going to show the best things that you can do with it. But right now, I think the actual foldable ones where it just goes from a regular size screen on the front to a tablet sized screen when you when you open it up like a book, even that has not too many use cases, but it has more than all these other kind of radical designs.
So another point where we're just essentially at peak level of innovation. It's just bells and whistles at this point.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Peak
Honestly, since like 5 years ago, if all they did was improve the battery life year after year, like I would have been happy. A phone from like any phone in the last 5 years has a decent enough camera, has good enough screen, can text, can view social media, can check emails, all that kind of stuff. But they still only last one day. When they can make that into a 2 or 3 day phone, like that's the leap in technology we need, not something that can
self-powering.
Yeah.
That would be the big ticket item.
That's the golden ticket item.
That's the golden ticket right there. That's the dream.
Even things like these scrollable, the foldable or rollable displays and stuff like that mean that there's less room for an actual battery, right? Because if the screen is rolling in on itself, that's going to take up space at one end of the phone, but that's where all the battery is going to be anyway. So the more stuff that's in there, the less like capacity battery you can actually put in there. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm like, it's cool, but I still think that, yeah, like you said, we've reached peak smartphone, and I don't know, it's more of a doing it for the sake of something different at this point.
So Ryan, you watching anything interesting on your time in quarantine?
I started watching Cobra Kai. It's fantastic.
Nice.
Did you watch like the Karate Kid and all that, or?
Yeah, not the one with like Little Bow Wow though, like just the OG one.
No. We're talking about good Karate Kid.
Yeah, like the OG one I've seen.
Yeah.
and in Bow Wow's defense, it was Jaden Smith.
Oh, sorry. sorry.
Here come the emails.
Sorry, Bow Wow. I didn't mean to disrespect you like that.
I think that was Like Mike who had Bow Wow.
That was it.
Yep.
Is that not the same movie?
Well, one is learning karate. The other is finding Michael Jordan's shoes and being able to play basketball like him at a young age.
So basically the same.
Same movie.
Like finding Miyagi's chopsticks.
I wish I had like.
Now we're getting more emails.
I want to take pictures of each movie and play a game called "Is this Like Mike" or "Is this the new Karate Kid?"
I would want to play that game.
You can never win, or you can never lose.
Yeah.
I played a similar game with my friend who's from Northern Ontario, Englehart, and I would send him pictures of Soviet Russia or his hometown, and he'd have to guess which one it was. And he got it wrong pretty frequently.
That's hilarious.
Now, were these all black and white photos? Or...
you.
It's like what were the photos of? Just like locations, or
Yeah, so like I was
because if it's like people like walking around,
Yeah.
and they look like 70s, 80s Russia.
Yeah, it'd be like, well, okay, I guess I should. It was Google Maps, so it probably wouldn't still be Soviet Russia. It would probably just be Russia,
Russia.
or like Ukraine and stuff like that. And that general vicinity. So it would be modern day pictures, but it would just be like I'd go to a random spot of either his town, like a place in his town, or just a random place in Moscow.
And sorry, where does he live in Northern Ontario?
Englehart. It's north of North Bay.
Woo!
North Bay. That's a good spot, Michelle.
It's the best spot. Well, it used to be. I haven't been back in a while, but I'm assuming it's still exactly the same as when I was there in college.
I'm looking at the next Karate Kid. Oh, this is the next Karate Kid. It's not even the Jaden Smith one.
Next Karate Kid.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't so bad. Hilary Swank's in it. Michael Ironside. I was like, oh, it's not even the right movie. Okay, the next Karate Kid. I'm not getting the results I want here.
How deep are you into Cobra Kai? Are you all caught up?
Nope. I just started today, so I'm like episode 8 or 9 on the first season.
Like I remember, I saw the original long time ago, and I don't think I ever saw the second one. Definitely didn't see the Hilary Swank one. I was gonna watch this show, but I didn't ever get into it. But I've heard nothing but great things about it.
Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan. That's poor Jackie Chan, man.
Poor Jackie Chan.
Oh my God, he's like the Nicolas Cage of fighting movies.
I thought Nicolas Cage was the Nicolas Cage of fighting movies.
Yeah, like he's been in enough that he could be the Nicolas Cage of.
I have not watched his Netflix show yet, The History of Swear Words. I am intrigued.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
I heard it was pretty funny, but that it gets old quickly.
You probably get tired of him pretty quick.
Yeah, so
The joke wears off quickly.
Yeah,
It's
literally.
like Chris Kattan.
I had to think about that for a second about who that was.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. All right.
We remember him from SNL. We remember him from Night at the Roxbury, but do we remember him after that?
Yeah,
Corky
absolutely.
Romano, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Corky Romano was good for only when he's coked out of his mind talking about a boat and giving a speech or something at a press conference.
Oh yeah, I think I remember.
That's like the only good. He's just like randomly, I should buy a boat. So, while we wait for our special guest, because we are going to have a fourth person, never been tried before on Open Collar, a fourth individual. We're going to ask a random question, which we used to do way back when we first started this show. Now, put your thinking caps on, or Detroit Tiger hats. So I just found a random conversation starter question is, how many chickens would it take, do you think, to kill an elephant? No. Think about that while I flip a note off about joining the program. You think it's even possible? That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm going to argue infinite here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with it's not possible. Just... It would have to be some sort of coordinated attack, right?
Yeah, and the elephant would have to be in some kind of confined space where the mere mass of the chickens present just suffocates.
Overwhelming. Yeah. If the chickens have, chicken wire and stuff like that, and they can wrap the elephant's legs maybe they can knock him down. But
The chicken would conveniently have the wire named appropriately.
of course. And
It's like the chicken and the egg. Maybe that's how it came up. It was an assault on elephant.
Yeah. with chicken wire specifically.
Imagine in the planning. All right, we're gonna need some sort of wire.
Okay, look, we have yarn, we have twine,
We have barbed wire.
we have pieces of string,
We have fishing line.
fishing line, yes. Any other suggestions?
Well, we are chickens, sir.
Oh, why didn't we think of this before?
Seems crazy, but it might work.
Yeah, I'd go with a hard, not possible.
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
All right, there's another thinker. Unless I've seen. No, he's not as of yet. So, okay. What inanimate object do you wish you could eliminate from existence? And not an inanimate carbon rod.
No, you need those. Would that be like, if I were to get rid of doorknobs, then every door would be like some sort of swinging situation? Or would it be like if you like the world would be exactly the same, it just would not have this object in it?
I think it's whatever irritates you to the point you wish it didn't exist anymore.
Legos when I step on them.
Or like if you don't like doorknobs, do door handles bug you?
Well, no, that was just my...
No, I'm just saying that, and that's my countering.
Yeah.
Because I prefer a door handle because if your hands are full, you just elbow it or
absolutely.
knee it or something, it opens it up. A doorknob, you got to put your shit down. And I don't like plastic wrapping. Just the sound of like in your movie theater, it's quiet. You're trying to open a bag of Skittles.
I got you.
It's more so the in Rod we trust.
Well done.
This is why he doesn't have a webcam.
Yeah. Who needs it? For our audio listeners.
Ryan, what say you?
Inanimate? Man, I don't know. I feel like anything that I say is just going to have ironic consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Like ending all wars.
Yeah. It's going to go the other way. But with that, let's welcome good friend Nick Butts. Butsy, what say you?
Hey, same old, same old. How are you guys?
Fantastic. Welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. So you are here as our hockey expert, as it were. What are your credentials? I know you scouted.
Yeah, I been following hockey my whole life. I played 4 years of junior hockey. Then I, went to Brock University, took sport management there. I ended up interning for the London Knights back in 2014 in their hockey operations department. So I got to see, firsthand how they operate, and it was during a Memorial Cup run. So that was kind of cool. And then obviously, Corey, I met you later in 2014 when I came to work for the Senators. All at the same time, so when I moved up to Ottawa, I had started scouting for the Carleton men's hockey team and have since transitioned over to the University of Toronto, where I'm the head scout now, along with my duties with the Sens. Obviously, with COVID and everything, not with the Sens anymore, but still scouting, still follow the game very closely. And I like to think that sometimes I know what I'm talking about.
Well, we played NHL 94 a lot, so that's all we got.
Yeah, that's...
That's all of our credentials.
That's all we need, eh?
Yeah.
So you're scouting with Toronto. How did that come about? Because you were doing, what, the O and the Q mostly?
Yeah, so a lot of the guys that we recruit, well, our main target market is the CHL, and the easiest crop to get are in the Quebec League and the OHL. In Ottawa, we have it pretty good because we can go, see a Quebec League game and see an OHL game actually all in the same day. I've done that once. I've actually seen an OHL game and a Quebec League game in the same day, so it's kind of unique in that sense where you can cover a lot more players and two different leagues. So it's pretty neat. And so we target CHL kids. And how it came about. So when I started at Carleton, actually circling back, a friend from back home ended up moving up to Ottawa for school. And then he played for the Carleton men's hockey team and then became the assistant coach. When I moved up to Ottawa, we reconnected, and then we just kind of started talking. He's like, "Hey, you want to help us out a bit and just kind of watch some games and kind of let us know if you see anybody that you like." And so I started with that, and then so my buddy ended up taking the head coaching job in Toronto, and then he asked me, "Do you want to be my head scout?" And it was a pretty easy answer. So here I am.
We ended the juniors last week, middle last.
Yeah, I think it was Monday, right? Or was it Monday?
I think so.
Yeah, it was
Lockdown
early in the week.
Yeah.
Any of those kids you have a chance to look at in your scouting?
Yeah, I mean anybody that plays in the CHL, so like the Byfields of the world, who else on that team? Like I'm like drawing a blank because there's just so many guys.
So many.
Yeah, just anybody in the OHL or the Quebec League. Not a whole lot of Quebec League kids this year on the team. From what I recall, there was a forward there. Can't remember his name, but I think that was about it. I could be wrong, but I think there's only like a handful of Quebec League players. Usually, there's at least 5 or 6 and at least one like impact player. So that was kind of unique this year. A couple OHL guys. I mean, but this isn't the group of guys I'm looking at. I'm looking at the 19, 20-year-olds. These guys are 18, 19, and they got bright futures ahead of them. Not to say that they all don't, but we're typically looking at the kids that professional teams have overlooked and are looking for another opportunity or another way to make it to the NHL. So,
what do you think of the crop of draftees that are entering this odd year of NHLdom?
It's really interesting, really interesting because
you think many have a shot of making it this year because of the situation?
Yes. So I think more than ever, you're going to see younger guys play because there may not be an OHL season. So
right.
Do you want your top prospects just sitting at home or, playing shitty with their buddies or whatever they do? I don't even know what they're going to be doing because right now you can't even be on the ice. Everything's on lockdown. You can't even go skate unless you're on an outdoor pond. And even then, apparently you can't even have like sticks and pucks or something.
I think that's technically banned. Yeah. I don't think you can even do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you want guys that you're invested in sitting at home playing video games? Like, I don't think you do. I think they're going to make an exception. Yeah,
I'm not working, man. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah, I heard NHL 21 is pretty realistic, but I don't know if it replaces the actual physical activity.
Maybe once it gets onto the Oculus Quest.
Yeah, exactly.
Sticks around.
Exactly. So, I mean, it makes a unique situation. A guy like Quentin Byfield, so definitely high-end player. He'll make it and be an impact player in the NHL, but is he ready today? I don't think so. So the LA Kings are going to have to make a really tough decision on him. Do they want to insert him into the lineup and maybe expose him and maybe, hurt his development that way just by losing his confidence by, having the media and fans kind of turn on him? Do you really want that? Like, do you want kind of, and I hate to bring this up, but like almost like a Curtis Lazar effect where you almost rush him and then the expectations are too high and like unrealistic, and then he can't reach that potential, and it's just a snowball effect, and then the confidence starts to shed away. You have the fans on him. It's just like eventually you're just backed into a corner, and it just doesn't work out for you. So I really think There's going to be some very tough decisions this year. If I understand correctly, I think the AHL is going to allow 18, 19-year-olds or 19-year-olds to play this year. Typically, you could only play as a teenager if you're European. It's like an agreement they have with the CHL. So that's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, I think just from a cash flow perspective, you need entry-level guys because you're going to pay a guy, what is it, $850K versus, if you got a veteran guy who's third, fourth liner, you're paying him, 1.5 to 3 million a year, right? So that's a pretty big difference when you're, pinching pennies.
When you say, sorry, go for Michelle.
So yeah, when you say in the AHL that you can play as a teenager if you're European, and not so much here, that's like it's a max out, like once you 19, 20, you're done. And then
exactly.
what are your, like, if you don't hit the NHL at that point, like what are your options as a player?
Well, if you're 20 years old in your last year and you don't get an
you don't get drafted or
okay. So at that point, it's a good thing that you have a school package. So most OHL players will have a full school package, 4 years, any university in Canada paid for, no problem, tuition. And some have books, like you can negotiate this stuff. So some of the higher end guys that, don't make it will have really good school packages. Others may have kind of the bare minimum. But anyway, so there's a couple of things you could do. So if, say you didn't really pay attention in school, the marks aren't very good, you're going to be borderline. Who knows? Maybe you can't get into the schools that have good hockey programs. You're turning your mindset to pro hockey. So you need to find a pro team. So AHL is not going to be the option. So you got to go look at the East Coast Hockey League, which is not a fun experience from what I understand. Or you go over in Europe, which is a great experience from what I understand. However, you got to be careful because if you go to Europe, you start falling off the radar. So you're almost forgotten about. You go over to Europe, unless you're ripping it up and people are talking about you, even if you're ripping it up, no one's watching you because everyone's watching players in North America. That's where the NHL is, right? So you're taking a bit of a risk. You're kind of limiting yourself to who can see you by going to Europe, right?
Yeah.
If you were to go to the East Coast League instead and say you start ripping it up, maybe an AHL team sees you and signs you to a one-way deal next year.
Yeah, you're close enough to home to just kind of pull you in for a little bit.
Absolutely, and that's huge.
Yeah.
So the NHL is realigning, as we all know, this year. You have any thoughts as to who's going to luck out the best with this realignment here?
Well, you know what? Looking at it, I feel really bad for the North Division. You're going to have no nights off in that division. Even Ottawa, like obviously last year Ottawa wasn't very good. This year, you know what? I think they're going to surprise people. They're not going to be, a doormat. They're going to show up. They're going to play hard, and you're going to have to earn it. So, I think just first glance, the North is going to be a war zone.
Do you think that Toronto benefits the most because they don't have to deal with Boston and Tampa this year?
No, because I think Boston's regressed.
Yeah.
I think they're not going to be as good as they were last year, only because, you lose Chara. Honestly, I'm shocked that they didn't sign him because here's a guy that's been with you for how many years, been your leader. The guy's 6'9". Like, if he's just on the bench, everyone feels bigger, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's just intimidating just being on the bench. Like, if you're the opposition, you're not going to do anything stupid because Chara's going to hunt you down. He's going to talk to you. And then Pasternak's out, right? So I think Boston's going to regress a bit. And there's the whole thing with Tuukka Rask not going into the bubble and whatever friction that caused. So I would be weary of the Bruins. They may take a step back. Tampa, yep, they're going to be very good. Is there going to be a Stanley Cup hangover? Maybe. Can they afford to have a slow start? No. So it depends on how they come out of the gate. But they're obviously a dangerous team. It's just this year there's not a whole lot of runway to have a bad stretch, right? So, do I think Toronto benefits from being in the North versus the, say, East? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think between the travel, because now you're going out to Vancouver multiple times, Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg. Winnipeg's not as bad, but like those are tough games.
And what do you think of the rookies for Ottawa, like Stützle?
You know what? Really, really like Stützle. I'm excited for him. He's going to be a star in the league.
He seems excited.
Yeah, this kid's going to be a star. Like he's got everything going for him. Is he going to have a big year this year? I would be worried about that. Only because Ottawa doesn't have any centermen. Who's going to get him the puck? Is it going to be Josh Moore? Is it going to be Logan Brown? Like I think Logan Brown's a really good player, but he's on his last legs here. He's got to have a big year, or he may be in trouble. But I just don't think that Ottawa's got the tools down the middle to set him up for success right now. Brady Tkachuk's not going to set him up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think once Ottawa solidifies the middle of their lineup there, he's going to be able to. He's going to have fun. He's going to do what he does, and he's going to score goals, make plays. But I think this year's going to be tough for him because he's going to have to do a lot of puck hunting and getting in the dirty air state to retrieve pucks. And he's 18. That's a lot to expect.
And I think Vegas still has what it takes to hang with the big boys, or even maybe this year take it all.
Vegas is interesting. I think they got better on D by picking up Pietrangelo, getting rid of Schmidt. I love Schmidt, but Pietrangelo is obviously an upgrade. Lost stats, and that kind of hurts. But I think Cody Glass is going to surprise people. I think Cody Glass is a very good player, and I think he's gonna do well this year and in the future. So I think they're in good shape. The only question mark is what's going to happen with this Marc-Andre Fleury situation. It's been pretty quiet recently on his on that front, and I suspect something's going to happen here because I don't think the coaching staff has a whole lot of faith in him, and I think he wants an opportunity. And he's still a really good goalie. He deserves one, and I'm sure there's 30 other teams that would pick him up in a heartbeat. But who knows with his agent and everything coming out and trying to start some stuff here. Who knows? But they have a really good leadership core, so I think that wouldn't be too big of an issue. I like Vegas. I think they're going to be really solid, especially in a weak division like that.
Who are their other goalies right now?
Leonard.
Yeah,
Robin Leonard there. Yeah.
So it's a 1AB situation right now.
Yeah.
It seems. At least that's how they're playing it off as.
Yeah, I think it's more of I don't think they're going to split as much. Although, with the back-to-back games with the condensed schedule, I think he'll play more. But there's still that whole dilemma there.
You think in the Central there's much improvement of like main teams there? Like Tampa is a surefire. Like
they're
champs, right? But you've had drop-offs with Nashville, Detroit right now. The Stars, like they're battling COVID right now. So I think that's probably one, I guess, is, like you said, it might be a cakewalk for the Lightning.
Yeah, like that's just at first glance, it's a pretty weak division. You got a pretty depleted Chicago team. No Jonathan Toews now. They got rid of Ole Mata. They're starting to strip it. They're starting to strip that core apart. Seabrook's out. Crawford gone. Who do they have in net right now? Malcolm Subban? Like, I think that's their starter right now.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Columbus, Pierre-Luc Dubois just asked for a trade. Their number one center. That's another problem.
That's not a good.
No, right? Like, so they're
situation.
going to be interesting to watch. They're usually a scrappy team. They lost Josh Anderson there in that Domi trade. I don't think Domi replaces Josh Anderson, and I don't think Domi is what they need. But I think they're going to have a tough time. They do have the goaltending and the D. Their D are really good. Their goaltending's excellent. Just they're going to have trouble scoring goals. Dallas, like you said, COVID issues. I mean, last time I checked, Hudom was out, and so was Ben Bishop. Ben Bishop, I don't know if he'll ever play again. Like, he's always hurt now. But I think Dallas is going to be solid again, especially in this division because they're quick. They're hard on the puck. They're heavy too, and then they're playing Detroit 9 times. Like,
That'll do it.
What's the length of the season? Is it 56?
56, yeah.
Yeah, they're playing like 20% of their games against Detroit.
100%.
That's awesome.
Carolina's, I'd say Carolina's the dark horse in this division. They are a really good team. Lots of firepower up front, lots of young firepower up front. Really, really deep on defense. You know, they have Mrazek in net with Reimer, you know, the nice 1-2 punch. Reimer isn't very good, but, you know, he can give you a night off. He can just, you know, be okay and get you a win. But I don't see anybody that scares me in this division other than Tampa. Like, I think Carolina will do some damage. But Tampa obviously is a team that you're looking out for. Nashville will be scrappy. They'll be all right. Florida, I don't know. I'm a little bit sour on Florida right now, unless they make some moves here. But like you said, like Detroit, who do they have? Like, Detroit's awful. They're going to be the worst team in the league for sure. But yeah, this is going to be it's going to be point night a lot of nights for some of the Tampa and Carolina guys, I think.
So I guess based on this, I would say the other, except for the North Division, because it's all Canada, the East would be the one to watch.
Yeah, that one seems like it's like every story that's kind of been out. Like, I haven't been watching as much hockey or reading up as much about it, but it seems like every time there's a story, it's like Washington. Washington, Boston, Pittsburgh.
It just seems like this division has
Buffalo.
2 teams that got shit over by goaltenders, right? Caps lost Lundqvist, and Corey Crawford just up and retired. But
don't sleep on Ilya Samsonov. Don't sleep on him. He's a really good goalie. Backed up Hopi last year. He'll be able to take on the load for sure. And then they got that Vitek Vanacek, I think, backing him up. I don't know what he's all about, but they just hope that he doesn't have to play. But
do you know the story with Crawford? Like, what was going on there? Or?
I don't. I don't know what was up with that. He
was
retired,
big,
right?
Yeah, just big money. Asked for a leave, and then like the day after, he just retired.
Interesting. I know he had like vertigo issues or something a few years ago with Chicago. He couldn't even like play for half the year, 3/4 of the year.
Is that concussion related?
It must have been. He couldn't even like stand up. He was off balance all the time, and he couldn't figure out what was going on. So I think it was probably more like health issues than anything. But yeah, it was kind of bizarre to see him retire like that. I thought he still had some life left in him. So.
And Taylor Hall with the Sabres.
Love it.
I think he's going to light it up because of that 1 year.
I hope so. I picked him my third or fourth round in the fantasy draft. Yeah, I think with Eichel, here's the thing. It's a perfect storm for Taylor Hall to break out again. So he was fishing for that big deal in the offseason. Obviously, the COVID hit, money got tight. So Buffalo came to him with a 1-year deal and put him in the best possible situation to put up the numbers so that this upcoming summer he can go back to the well and say, okay, pay me my money. I think playing with Eichel is going to be huge for him. It's just going to be a matter of, can they share the puck, right? Those are 2 guys that want the puck all the time. But it's kind of like, if you had Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant playing on the same team, well, they all can't shoot the same amount of shots, right? So there could be an issue with that, the ability to share the puck. But I still think that they'll work great together, and he'll do really well and put up big numbers this year.
Would they be playing on the same line, or?
Yep. Yeah. So they're playing on a line with I want to say Victor Olson's on their line, which is a sneaky good pick if you can get him in your fantasy.
Because I guess it wouldn't really make sense to. I mean, splitting them up would eliminate that kind of factor, but at the same time, they're both first liners, and I'm sure neither of them want to like be the one to be like, yeah, sure, I'll go on the second line.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic between the two guys because those are two, obviously highly skilled guys. They know they're highly skilled. They're pretty sure of themselves and they want to be the guy, but they can't both be the guy. So it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic, like if they've kind of, if they end up getting good chemistry and producing offensively. I think it's just inevitable they're going to produce, but it's going to be what's the chemistry looks like. What does the chemistry look like? And they don't have a whole lot of time to get that going. So they got to become fast friends, so to speak.
So, who are the ones you think everybody should be looking for when it comes to building their fantasy rosters? Taylor Hall, obviously, one of them.
Yeah,
on your team.
Yeah, it all depends, right? Like, it depends on your league's format. Is it a keeper league? What stats are you looking at? What are you measuring? Stuff like that. But I think if you go team by team and looking at the line combinations, there's at least one guy you can pull, even from Detroit. I was able to pull one guy from Detroit. It was tough, but and let me preface any answers with, I'm not going to tell you guys that are going to score 30, 40 goals. You already know who's going to score 30, 40 goals. We're looking at the guys that maybe other teams aren't really looking at that may surprise and may provide you some good value down the line in the draft, because that's where you may win or lose your draft is in the later rounds. For instance, Kirill Kaprizov on Minnesota. Corey, you should know him pretty well. I think he's going to be their best player this year. Like, I think he's going to lead their team in scoring. I don't know if you've seen some of the clips from him in camp, but he was making some of these guys look really stupid.
Yeah, I saw some of their stuff on Instagram.
Yeah, he ripped it up in the KHL last year. He's coming over. He's going to play with Parise. I think they're going to do really well together, and I think he's going to be a really nice pickup for somebody. And a lot of guys don't know about him, right? So you can maybe scoop him up in the mid to late rounds, and that's a guy that you probably in a perfect world would have picked him up in, I don't know, 5th, 6th round.
I love those late rounders.
Yep.
We think of Hoffman in St. Louis on a 1-year $4 million. That's another guy I think was also waiting for the big payday.
Yeah,
that didn't come.
It's too bad. You hate to see that.
Yeah, I hate to see it.
Consistent goal scorer that he is.
Yeah, he's going to put pucks in there. That's for sure. The question is, what is he going to do besides that, right? Like, I think he's going to do really well in St. Louis, just because they're typically pretty good defensively. So he'll be insulated a bit. Like, if he does something stupid, first of all, I'm sure they'll call him on it. Second of all, he'll have guys supporting him and getting into position to kind of bail him out. So I don't think he will be as exposed as maybe he was in Florida or in Ottawa in the later years. But he will put the puck in the net. He's going to score a ton of goals in the power play on the point. He's got probably top 3 release in the league. You can't teach 30 goals. That it's a guarantee with him, 25 to 30 goals every year. He's playing with Robert Thomas, who's a really nice up and coming young player. And I think he's going to do really well. And I think, again, it's one of those things. He knows it's a 1-year deal, and he's going to try to earn that big ticket.
So a couple more questions, Nick, and we'll let you go. Mike Milbury. Did you like that outcome?
To be honest with you, I just saw the headlines. I didn't see what exactly that was about. I understand it was something to do with like a sensitive comment. Which doesn't...
Yeah, it was this comment about the bubble, right? How the players are playing well because there's no women to distract them.
Oh, yeah, that's not a good look. here's the thing. So I had a certain perception about Mike Milbury
I
until I
think
read.
everybody had a certain perception of Mike
Yeah,
Milbury.
the guy
Him
took
and
a-
Roenick.
yeah, the guy took a guy's shoe off and beat him with it. So, I mean, he's a different cat. Definitely old school. Doesn't make it right, but I had a certain like you guys did had a certain perspective on him, and then I read Brian Burke's book, and Brian Burke talks about his friendship with Mike Milbury and how he's pretty rough around the edges, but deep down there, he's just an awesome guy. Means well. He just doesn't necessarily he hasn't progressed like the rest of society. He's still living in the 70s mentally. If he can ever get himself to 2020 or 2021, then I think he'd be fine. I think it sounds like he's a good human being, but he just can't help himself. He's always in the mix doing something controversial. He's got the hard stances. It's kind of like Don Cherry, right? You'll never change those guys. They're stuck in 60s, 70s mentality, and it's truly unfortunate because it's not fair to women and society to have people like that speaking out and having that type of platform. But at the same time, you feel bad for him too, because it's like, he can't even help himself.
There's no malice on his part. He just said what he said.
Yeah,
that's what he says.
Exactly. I don't think he said it like he said maliciously. I think it was just the way he was brought up in his environment, right? Which doesn't make it right, but it's unfortunate.
And then, like, the ironic part is they hire Mike Babcock to replace him.
Yeah, maybe. I know Babs. What was he doing there? He was working as an assistant coach for a D1 team. I think it was maybe like Dartmouth or something, somewhere on the East Coast. Like, I think he was like a video coach, or I don't know what he was doing, but I think he's definitely sniffing around a job, and I think this is an opportunity for him to have a platform to, I guess, share his knowledge and show off a bit and show what he knows now. And I don't think he ever shied away from telling people what he knows and what he thinks. So it'll be really interesting. I think he won't hold anything back, but I think he'll also understand the perception of him right now, and I think it's an opportunity. I think he's seeing it as an opportunity to clean that up and change people's views on him.
I have two quick ones here. You think they finish the season?
That's a good question. I think the North Division is going to be fine. I think it'll be. I don't think you'll see too many cases there. My concern is, in the U.S. Like, you look at the NFL, you look at baseball, they've all had their issues. And I foresee the NHL having the same issues. Now,
the NBA, right? Just the last two nights had to postpone games because they didn't have enough players?
That's just it. And the NHL, like, what's their taxi squad? There's not that many guys in the taxi squad. And if one guy gets it, they're on the plane together in the dress room. Like, just spread like wildfire, right? So, and couple that with the NHL doesn't have the money that the NBA has to reschedule games and stuff like that. Like, they, when they pay for, flights, hotels, and everything, that's expensive. I think somebody told me once that to fly one of those charter flights, it's like $30,000 an hour or something.
Wow.
Yeah,
must be nice.
So it's
making
not,
$30,000 an hour.
Yeah, that's like 4 membership services reps. Just to get to a game. But that's my concern is, if it happens early too, if it happens, say, in the first, few weeks or even a month in, it's going to screw up the schedule, screw up the timelines. And I know that they have it all planned out, but what does Elliot Friedman always say? People plan and God laughs. So I think that'll be it'll be interesting to kind of follow. I hope all goes well. We need the NHL back and going smoothly, but at the same time, reality is that the odds are pretty high that something could happen here and push the season back, or put the season in jeopardy. I just hope it doesn't happen.
I haven't heard like too much about like contingency plans and all that kind of stuff, but like with baseball, is the NHL okay with getting to the playoffs where like different teams have played a different amount of games, or are they going to just try and figure out like how to make sure those games get played? Because that's kind of what happened with baseball, right? Like there was not everyone played the same amount because of COVID, and if they weren't able to reschedule the games or something like that. Um, but like, is the NHL kind of doing something similar? Like, okay, we have 56 games. As long as a team has played 50 of them, they're eligible for the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar. Like, I don't know if you guys follow college football, but Ohio State played, I think, like 4 or 5 less games than everybody else. I think a number of teams played less games. Yeah, I think you almost have to look at that model because a number of things. So one, okay, so you have companies that have or corporate sponsors that have paid you for last year, didn't get the full value. So this year you're promising them helmets, more on ice stuff, the digital ads, stuff like that. Well, if you don't play games, if you don't play playoff games, you're basically again back in the same boat where you're not giving them the value that they paid for. And you want to go piss off some corporate sponsors. I mean, for especially small market teams, that's a big no-no. So I think they'll do anything they can. The NHL will do anything they can to make sure that even if you don't play all 56 games, they'll make it work if you earned a spot in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If you're Detroit and you were 10-35 and you didn't get to finish the last 11 games, I think they'll say thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. Because it sucks sometimes because I know it happened in baseball a few times where like one specific team was fine, but the other team had people with COVID, so they couldn't play their series. And then the next week, the first team was still fine, and then another team didn't. So they missed out on like 2 series in a row, basically to no fault of their own. And the first team that had it has waited their time. They everyone tested negative, and they're off playing again. So it's like it's not even just missing games due to your players having COVID. It's missing games due to other teams having it, and like your team could be fine all year round and still only get to play a percentage of the games because of other teams' issues, which like it sucks, but there's no real way of predicting that either. So,
and you got to think too, right? Like, is the NHL using rapid testing? Like, because I know that was a technology that we had talked about back in, I believe it was like October, November, and it just kind of went away. It was supposed to be for like all citizens, but I think the leagues were trying to use that. I don't know if they're using it right now, but like in football, you remember there was a big COVID outbreak, and I think it was like Tennessee and I want to say Minnesota.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and they had issues. They found out after the fact that some Tennessee guys tested positive, so they went and they got Minnesota tested. Well, what if you play back-to-back games? Did they do testing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, so say you get tested. Well, it's at least 24. Well, most people it's 24 hours to get your results, right? What if you play, say you play Montreal one night and you're going directly to Toronto for the next night? Well, what if 3 teams are now exposed to COVID? What do you do in that situation?
Half the division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do?
They must have. Like they're gonna have some sort of contingency, but yeah, like stuff like that is you can't just be like, all right, well, go for it anyway.
Yeah, and you know what? They did a great job with that, with the playoff bubble and everything. So I have full confidence that they're gonna do everything they can to avoid any sort of contacts. But at the end of the day, like it's so hard when you're traveling daily. Like when you're going, like I'm assuming they have to go through security. Even the stewardess on the plane, like what if, like, do they have to get tested? Like there's so many variables you have to look at in order to have a safe season. It's crazy. It's a logistical nightmare.
But they can handle it, right?
Yeah, 100%, no problem.
So we're gonna put you on record now. So who you like in the final, and who you like winning it all?
Well, I think I have an issue with the North Division just because they're going to be beating the hell out of each other all year. That's going to be a tough division to come out of, first of all, and how much gas are you going to use just getting through that season? That's a really good question. I would say keep an eye on Washington. Okay. And I would say, who's on the other side there? I would say, you know what? I could see Vegas doing some damage again this year, and they have a little bit of an easier route. I like Colorado. I just don't think they have the goaltending. If Colorado addresses their goaltending, they're going to be in really good shape. And I might change my tune to Colorado, but right now I'd have it somewhere. I could see it being a Washington-Vegas final.
Jot it down. Make your record. It's
Who,
on the record.
who wins
now.
that one?
Put it in pencil.
So Washington takes it, or
I think
give Ovi another.
I think Vegas takes it because they've been so close the past couple of years. They're gonna push it over the edge here. They have a good veteran group. They just brought in a Stanley Cup champion captain, and Pietrangelo, who knows how to win. I think they're due. They're gonna get it done, I think.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time, Nick. Thanks for hopping on the show.
Yeah.
But if I'm wrong, by the way, just cut that out. Just
we'll edit that. We'll edit that in 4 months.
Yeah, we're not even airing this, so it's fine. So, Nick Butts, thanks, Butsy. We'll have you back again. We'll go over this updates on how things are going, how things are not going.
Absolutely, yeah. Hopefully, I'm just very wrong, and we can all talk about that.
Oh yeah, we all love pointing out people's mistakes and errors.
Yes, 100%.
Pretty much the only reason we have Ryan on the show.
I was just gonna say that's like the reason I'm here. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, I want to touch on one thing. Are you guys into like sports cards or anything? That's making a huge comeback.
Yes, I'm not, but I was getting takeout a month ago, and swear to God, there was a gentleman sitting at a table, and someone came in, and they were like negotiating cards.
I love it.
I've seen that with I think it's been going on for a while, but like Pokemon cards and stuff too. But I've been hearing a lot more about sports cards like coming back.
Yeah, it's all the downtime.
Yeah,
they're so hot right now, so hot. I went home for. Sorry, I shouldn't say this on the air. I went somewhere
pre-lockdown.
Yeah, this is before the lockdown. I went to visit my parents. I went through my old bucket of cards, and I found just like this most random card laying there. No top load or anything, just kind of floating around in a bucket. And it was a hollow Gyarados Pokemon card, first edition, no shadow, so it was shadowless. I looked it up online, and apparently one sold for like $16,000 US.
Jeez.
A Charizard sold for $150,000.
Yeah, and I had this thing just floating around in a bucket, like no plastic on it,
like an animal.
Yeah, God, barbarian.
Yeah, honestly, I almost had a heart attack when I saw that price point. I immediately put it into a top loader. I'm trying to resurrect this card now. So yeah, it's interesting, guys. If you have anything in your basement, pull it out because it could be worth something.
Got a AA battery.
Maybe another 20 years, Corey.
Keep it safe.
It's one of the non-lithiums. So
It's, hold on. It's lithium.
Hey, pretty soon there won't be batteries, so hey, maybe hang on to them.
Yeah.
I think it'll be self-charging, right, Ryan?
I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, Nick. Thank you, sir. We'll check with you again.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care, man.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Ryan, still there?
I
Yeah.
haven't talked hockey in a long time.
Ages.
Yeah.
Guy seems very knowledgeable. I didn't want to talk too much and just kind of listened.
Start talking shit of stuff you don't know.
Yeah.
I thought we woke you up with a Pokemon discussion.
He kind of did. One of the questions I was debating asking, I just didn't want to interrupt him while he was on a roll there, is how his job of scouting is different now that COVID's a big factor and how that
I was thinking the same thing.
If obviously it's a factor, but like to what extent do they look at more health physically and mentally in terms of that, and their ability to handle that would be interesting to pry into.
Yeah, same thing when it comes to trading players this year too, right? With the border and the quarantining and all that stuff, I'm sure that's all gonna have to factor into.
Yeah, same thing with the whole prospect thing. Like, you're gonna have a bunch of kids now that haven't played contact hockey in 3 or 4 years. Let's say if this goes on long enough, like how are you gonna bring those kids into the league, and how are you gonna evaluate them? Are teams just gonna have to take the plunge and kind of accept it, and what is the league going to look like in 5 years because of this COVID thing?
Yeah, it'd be interesting if there's like COVID clauses in contracts too.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were one day, if not already.
And to your point about health, right? If you contracted it at any point, if that factors into
your ability,
your ability, or
like
people
issues.
questioning your longevity if you're a long hauler or something.
Yeah,
but we'll have them back.
I mean,
we'll ask more questions.
Yeah, like the same can be said about like concussions, right? Like, I don't know if there are concussion clauses and stuff like that right now, or if that's just lumped.
They have bonuses, right, for games
injury.
played. I wonder if that fact is like a similar clause. Like,
yeah,
you sign this contract, you play 45 games, you get this extra money. So
yeah,
therefore, don't get hurt.
Don't get concussed.
I read this story, and I don't know if it's a true thing or not. So Ryan, I might need you to help me out with this one. But
I'll pull it up.
there was, I'm pretty sure it's true, but I just also thought it was really funny. But in the last regular season game, for who's Brady playing on now? Buccaneers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There was I don't know, one of his teammates, the running back or I don't know what, had to, like, he gets a bonus if he gets X number of catches, and in like the last game, the story was basically that instead of like handing off to him, Brady would just do like a rugby pass to him, so it counts as a catch, and he ended up with like 10 catches or whatever. And that put it over the limit, so that he got like a $100,000 bonus or something. Like,
for sure,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, like stat padding is done even when money's not really a factor in terms of just record breaking and stuff like that. Like, teams do that all the time. It's if Brady is aware, it's like, yeah, if I make 2 more catches, like I get $100,000, Brady's gonna say, okay, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, like we'll make that happen. Yeah. But it was so funny. They're like, yeah, they just like switched it up so that it would count as like, because I guess a handoff doesn't count as it just counts as a regular carry.
Yeah.
But a, like, I think what they call it, a shovel pass or something.
Yeah, something like that. Just like a quick toss kind of thing.
Yeah, and then in that sense, it like counts as a catch. I was like, that's amazing. Like, that's the kind of guy you want on your team.
Technicalities.
Hooking you up.
Deflating balls, getting your bonus.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Worth it.
Did you see, Ryan, that Trump's considering giving Belichick the Presidential Medal of Freedom?
I did not. I mean, that sounds like a headline I would read. No, Belichick for next prez.
Is he even allowed to hand out things at the moment?
I don't think there's, people who are banned from Twitter are supposed to talk to each other.
That's my favorite thing, though. Like the people going on about how it's a violation of free speech. Well, you and I, Michelle, you and I talking this after our last recording. About people don't understand how free speech works. It's like you can say whatever you want with no fear of consequence.
Yeah, like the example is always like, yeah, free speech, but you still can't yell fire in a crowded room. Like,
if there was no consequence for things that, we say, I would never be sleeping on the couch.
Which you'll be doing tonight.
Already made up.
Do one of those sleep streams for like 24 hours. Make some money.
Oh my god.
A sleep study, yeah. Oh man. So, who do we get to come on and talk about something next time?
I want to get somebody who knows the ins and outs of the Pokemon trading world.
So you can price out the cards you have?
Yeah, or the ones that I did have and I sold to some snot-nosed kid when I was 12.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Like those Pogs.
Yeah. All for a pack of Dunkaroos, eh, Ryan?
Literally, I think I sold them all for like $50, which was like so much money to a 12-year-old.
$50 might as well be like 100,000.
Yeah, at that point.
Yeah. But like, imagine if I even saved that $50 and held on to it today, how much that would have been, or B, held on to the actual Pokemon cards and sold them now. Of course, I did neither.
The point is moved.
I'd gladly have $50 today rather than.
Yeah, see that one I find odd because like toys we had as kids unopened, they don't make anymore, are worth a lot. But Pokemon's still going around. Is it just like I'd say like a Transformers? You get your Gen 1 series is worth more when anything current is worth nothing. Even though it's technically still the same shit, just made more cheaply.
But isn't that okay? So that Charizard card,
you know what it's called.
you know what I'm talking about. Was that like that's? I mean, it was a rare card, right? That's why it was worth so much. But was it like they don't make that card anymore, right? So that's why, right? So like
the rarity,
yeah. So it's even a copy of an original toy, right? It's like a supply and demand thing, right? It's just like PlayStations right now, right? Like they're not worth $1,500, but people are paying $1,500 for them just because you can't find them anywhere. Like the rarity of it is what you're paying for.
But like, where's the demand coming? Like, what's the demand for this? That's my question.
Exactly.
I guess you'd have to, talk to some sort of collector that would know more about that.
Yeah, you have to be like in that world. Oh, here we go. What's it gonna be?
You could screen share and just show the card.
Is that the one that was?
That's the Big Daddy one there. That's
150 grand.
Yeah.
Damn.
Honestly, never got into it. I was just before, like I was into the Pogs and hockey
Pogs
cards.
Are awesome. I think I still have my Pogs. I think they're kicking around somewhere.
Well, you and I have talked about this before. That was like the Texas Hold'em of the playground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure they got banned after like a month or so after, it always takes one kid who steals someone else's Pog collection.
No, it was one little fuck that went home and cried to mom and dad that
ruined it.
So
for
and so
everybody.
took their card or their
Yeah.
pogs, and then they called the school.
I mean, it's basically like it's instilling gambling into young kids. I saw that coming.
A buddy of mine, we played, we lost all our stuff. It was lunch recess. We decided to leave the school grounds, go to the corner store, and buy more.
There you go.
That he needs to fix.
It's the equivalent of going, to the ATM, taking out more, and having it converted to chips.
Yeah. Then there's always those. Like,
I'm down. I gotta get back. I gotta get back even at least.
Yeah, and then you always had those kids that had like the off-brand pogs that were like got at the flea market and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not playing with those. They don't flip the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the ones that had just a plain white back on it.
Yeah.
Didn't say pog. Yeah, it was.
Hey guys, you want to play Bogs?
Get out of here.
I got some gops here. You guys want to play gops?
Yeah.
It's just pog spelled backwards, you idiot.
Come on.
And it was what, Looney Tunes was something? I can't remember all the brands or the licensed characters of it.
Yeah, there's a bunch. I like the NHL pogs the best. I used to love those.
Yeah, I think I had some of those.
I had a Garth Snow hockey pog.
Yeah, that was like your
That was like
most prized possession.
That's my big claim to fame.
Never let go of this one.
Guys, it's Garth Snow. That was that was like my goalie in NHL 98.
Yeah.
Sorry to
Garth
hear that.
Snow. I don't know. It was the mask, I guess, is what did it.
Well, I now have to Google his. I mean, I know
It wasn't like a
his abs
Casey
were-
Jones mask, but it was something I think similar to it. And the big lacrosse pads and
Yeah, like the most gigantic pads in the
Yeah.
history.
He was just the complete package.
yeah. NHL 97 was the best when you had I mean legit 97 when you had everyone wearing lacrosse gear. Steve Shields. Basically everyone looked like Super Shredder just standing in front of a net. Don't even have to move to make a save.
That sounds awesome.
But you could still score with the whole like loop around the net.
Yeah, well they couldn't move. Their equipment was so big.
Yeah, they were not flexible back then.
I still love like just the whole Dominic Hasek dive for everything.
Oh man, when he was in Ottawa, that was so great.
Everyone thought that was it. This was the year. But he was like 86 years old and got hurt.
Yeah, and then I mean, we got far with Emery. Rip.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
But,
a
like,
sad story.
that
That's a
was,
sad
like,
tale.
That was the best time to work at Scotiabank Place back in the day.
Oh yeah.
That run,
We had fun.
we had a great time. You know what's funny? I got to explain the phone in the ceiling prank to a few buddies there the other day. Yeah, they asked
You
me,
guys
like,
remember? You guys remember The Office? Yeah, we did that.
We did that.
yeah, with glorifying success.
I
still say the best prank on you was the print screening of the desktop
every time
with your message open.
I still talk about that to people. Like
You
whenever
print
someone tries to do anything to a computer, I'm like, no. That's nothing.
Like you print screen the message open, but you have the bar like highlighted, like you have to click on it.
Yeah, that was good. I forgot about that.
They're just watching you like you're at window 5.
Why
I'm
is
at
it
window
opening?
1. Keep like slowly moving the cursor to click. Like why is it then typing and it's not working, and then you check it again.
So good.
Learned a lot.
Learn to always lock your computer. There you go.
Learn who your real friends were.
Oh man, and here we are, unable to see each other. Well, Ryan.
Yeah.
One day soon, I'll get on it.
Well, as we're winding things down, I figure I'll bust out the old dad jokes to wrap things up and ask, Why did the math book look so sad? Because of all its problems.
Boo. Turn the stream off. I didn't sign up for this.
Didn't you, though?
Yeah, you you read the terms of service.
The end user license agreement.
Learning anything these days, you got to pay attention to those terms and services before we kick you off Open Collar.
Right.
All right, well, thanks for joining us again, Ryan.
No problem. Like
It was nice to, well, hear you. Couldn't see you.
That's okay. You're not missing much.
I want to see what this no sugar diet is doing for you. You must be all. You must be ripped.
No.
No, just skinnier than normal.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I've lost like 20 pounds, which is nice. But yeah,
I lost 20, but gained 35.
How long you been doing that?
Probably
12 days.
Since breakfast. No, like 8 months. It's been about 8 months.
Oh, that's not bad. That's solid.
Yeah. And that's been good. COVID helps. Just not going out to like bars and restaurants and stuff is helpful enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like it's huge. KFC's still open though.
You try the plant-based chicken?
Oh God, no! Shoot myself in the foot before I do that.
Hey man, they're good. I haven't tried the chicken and stuff, but the plant-based burgers are fantastic.
Whereabouts?
What was the brand name? Wasn't there like a brand name?
Well, there's a few. So there's Beyond Meat's the big
Beyond
one.
Meat. That's what I'm thinking of.
But it's I don't know. Like I'm going from like soy veggie burgers and stuff like that to plant-based ones. The plant-based ones taste way better.
Oh, I bet.
But there are some like Harvey's still has some of the best veggie burgers.
Does McDonald's have a veggie burger?
So that's I've heard things like McDonald's and Burger King, and I don't know. It seems like all of them have something now, but I don't know. I don't trust them enough. I guess that like it's not that it's getting mixed up with like the meat ones, but that it's being like cooked in the same.
You could also get like a wrong order. Like it's so easy for you.
Exactly, it really is.
And then you take a bite and it's not plant or whatever, right?
Yeah. But there's like so many good options now for like plant-based things. And I don't know, like for me it's really good just because things are like Subway, it used to be just salad on bread, but now I have like a more substantial offering. Same with like burrito places and stuff like that. They have, they usually have some sort of plant-based.
Yeah, I think it's picking up speed. I think all these restaurants are starting to.
I think it's picking up speed.
Offer it.
Yeah, like it's picking up speed based on the fact that people think that it's healthier because it sounds healthier, but like I don't think that it actually is.
It's like the 300-pound person ordering, a double Big Mac with a side of chicken fingers, but I'll get a Diet Coke.
It's like a diet soda.
Yeah, but it's like
it has less calories.
Yeah, well, I know that I don't know. For me, getting a burrito that's just like veggies, or getting a burrito that's veggies with some of that like plant-based stuff in it, like it just fills me up more. So I don't know. For me, it's good, and it tastes good. So definitely worth a try.
Healthiness, you guys. Do you not know the world we're living in right now?
Yeah.
How's your diet, Cor?
I skipped the Fudgios today.
I was gonna say.
Progress.
I I could just see Corey like, make himself a sandwich, just putting like the Fudgio dust in between the bread.
The gut.
Just sprinkling it up. Yeah. It's like you eat the cookies, but then you take the bag and just right in the mouth. That's the dream.
That's the dream.
And then you cry yourself to sleep and
Do it all again tomorrow.
Do it again the next
right. Yeah, I like sending that stuff to you because I know what you picture.
It gets me through my day.
Just the worst imaginable thought of devouring the most delicious of cookie.
Yeah, I might pick up Fudgios.
Just takes you back, right? You get the little sandwich bag of like 4 in your lunch kit.
Oh yeah.
That's what I do. I eat that and then I wonder where I went wrong.
You know what I haven't had for a while? Pop-Tarts.
Ooh.
It's a dangerous game, Ryan.
Yeah, I'd steer clear, but
I might treat myself. I might have a Pop-Tart.
I don't know if they are, but the last 3 or 4 times I went to Walmart to pick up the essentials,
So Pop-Tarts.
they were 3 for $6.
ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's 4 packs times 3 boxes.
I know I'm gonna regret this, but I'm gonna look up the nutritional information.
That's gonna be such a bad idea.
It's just gonna error out when you do that, Ryan.
Don't do it.
It's gonna say 404 can't be found.
I get like a message pop up to stop looking.
Yeah, it's like
Just don't. Now, when they open the borders in a couple years, what you want to do yourself a favor is go to a Walmart there because there's like an aisle of just different flavors you've never even heard of.
The 15 unhealthiest junk foods in America. Number 1 is Pop-Tarts.
So you have to get them now.
Worse,
We're not America.
worse than Popeyes. Worse
I don't
than
know.
Starbucks white chocolate mocha frappuccino.
Michelle can talk about that.
a white like a frappuccino from Starbucks is like it's like, isn't it like 1,400 calories or more?
That's insane. Why would anyone drink that?
Something like that.
It's just there's no liquid in that at all.
Yeah.
It's just sugar.
It's just calories.
You know what? Skip the Pop-Tarts. Just go buy a package of Fun Dip, Ryan.
Yeah, why sugarcoat it? Part of
Yeah, mix in a pixie stick.
Yeah, you get yourself a Coke, and then you have a pixie stick straw.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
You'll be riding the dragon that night. Yeah, wasn't I ending this like 15 minutes ago?
Yeah. All right.
We just took a bad turn down
That's all it takes is a couple
Sugar
of
Lane.
Memory / Sugar Lane. All right. Let's call it.
Right.
Yeah, that is open caller for this week. Thanks to Ryan. Thanks again to Nick for sitting in. And he's Michelle. I'm Corey. Reminding everybody to follow us socially. Facebook.com if you still are on there. Twitter.com if you're still on there. Instagram. All those fun things at Open Caller Pod or YouTube.com/GoVNC. For Michelle, Ryan, this is Corey reminding you all to keep it casual.